boys and girls. Um, this video is on our phonics lesson for this week. And the phonics lesson is adding endings like ed and ing to words. So you are going to need a piece of paper, something fun to write with, because we're going to practice creating words like that and reading words with endings. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to give you a word, and I want you to see if, look at this word. Now this word has a long A and a sneaky E, and that's how we code that. I don't know if you remember that or not, but that word is tape. Now, if we want to make that word taping, like I'm going to be taping up your papers in the room, the first thing I would need to do is I need to drop that E and just add ing. We're usually not going to see an E and an I beside one another, so that we dropped the E and we added ing. Now, what if I want to say we taped the papers to our locker, talking about past tense? We would still have to drop this E and add ed, because if we didn't drop this E, it would look like this. If we kept that E and added it, it would look like that, and we know that's not the right way. So when you have a word that ends with E, you're going to drop it and then add your endings. And ed can sound differently. Sometimes ed, you can hear it sounds like ed. Look, what is that word? Dated. They dated in high school. Do you hear the ed? You can hear it. Sometimes it sounds just like a D. Look at this word. Tried. All you hear is the D. And sometimes it even sounds like a T. She mixed. You hear that? It sounds like a T. This one sounds like a D. And this one you really hear the ED. Dated. Ed. Good. Okay. So we're going to practice. I'm going to give you some words, and I want you to go ahead and write them. And I want you to write this word and see if you can figure out how we would add the ending. That's an O, guys. What is that word? It has a long O, sneaky E. So always code it. That word is hope. How am I going to turn that into hoped? She hoped it would be break soon. Hoped. We're going to write hope without our E and add ed. Hoped. Now, what kind of sound does that ed have? Hoped. You should have said it has the T sound, doesn't it? Hoped. Now, if we're going to change it into hoping, again, we're going to write hope without the E and add ing. And now we have hoping. Try this word. I'm going to write these words, and boys and girls, I want you to read them. Don't write them, read them as I write. Okay, let's read these. Using, used, skated, mixing, and mixed. Sometimes when you have words that have ending, it's easier to think about what that word looked like before the ending. So let's write down on your paper right now what this word in your brain, this word, what did it used to be before it was using? You should have said to yourself that word was use. The base word is use. What did use look like? It can't be that, right? Because that would be us. What does it need? Yeah, long U, sneaky E. But what happened to that E up here? We had to drop it before we added ing. This word used. Use is the base word. Remember, we had to drop that E and add the ED, because if we didn't, it would say USEED, and we know that wouldn't be right. Skated. What did that word used to be before it was skated? What's the base word? You should have thought to yourself, skate. Check yourself. Is this skate? No, because it doesn't have the sneaky E, long A, sneaky E. We had to drop it before we added ED. And this word, mixing. Does that say mix? Yes, it doesn't need an E, does it? Mix. It was just MIX, and all they did was simply add ing. Those kinds of words are the easiest. And mix is the base word over here as well. You just had to add the ending. There's no silent E. So the rule is, boys and girls, most of the time when there's an E, you're going to drop it before you add your ending. I want you to try to write the words that I give you. I want you to write the word hiking. Hiking. Now think about, let's do it this way. Think about what the base word of hiking is. You should have thought hike. Now write hike. Ike. You know you need the long I, sneaky E. So how are you going to turn hike into hiking? You're simply going to write hike, dropping that E, and adding ing. Now try lifted. She lifted up her brother. Lifted. Think of what lifted is before we added ed. Lift. Lift. Now if we want to make it lifted, we have to add our ed. And this, in lifted, you hear the E and the D. Okay, shaped. Shaped. Her face is shaped like an oval. Shaped. Sounds like a T, but we know it's not a T. And think about what the base word is of shaped. You should have thought shape. You have long A, sneaky E. So in order to change it into shaped, we're going to write shape without the E and add ed. Racing. Racing. What was racing? What's the base word? Ace. And you know you need that. You're going to have to, what do you see? The sneaky E. Drop it and add your ing. And then driving. Driving. She is driving across the country. Driving. Think about drive. There's drive. Long I, sneaky E. You're going to drop the E and add ing. And I want you to try one more. I want you to try saved. Nate saved 10 stamps. So if we write save, we know we have a long A, sneaky E. And to make saved, we're going to take the E off and add ed. Because if I didn't, I would have two E's there. So when you have a sneaky E, you're going to drop it, and then you're either going to add ing or ed. And ed has different sounds. Sometimes it sounds like a T. Sometimes you hear the ed, and sometimes you hear just the D. And in the next video, that's what we're going to do. We're going to practice sorting words by reading them and seeing what sound our ED makes. But for now, I hope you can practice your spelling words and practice seeing if you can come up with some words that end with ED and ING. Happy reading, boys and girls. I'll see you in the next video.